Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you. I am Sandy Willatt, and I'm an officer with Cambridgeshire County Council. And I think we've had some really, really interesting thoughts this morning. We've had the political context from Alan. We've had Dr. Kesler, who I thought really broadened our view out to the wider world. And I'm going to kind of bring us back a little bit closer to home. What is community cohesion? It's really picking up the things that Alan talked about and the things that Ed Kesler talked about as well. It's how well do groups of people get on with each other and support each other. It's nothing more than that. It's about everyone in a community having the same or similar opportunities to reach their potential. It's all of us knowing our rights, but also our responsibilities to our local communities. It's about trusting one another. It's about trusting the institutions that we have to act fairly and in our best interests, whether that's the police, or the district council, or the National Health Service. It is not about differences amongst groups of people in our communities, and it really is strongest where people take an active part in their communities. Now then, who lives in Wisbech? I should put my glasses back on for this. Right, quite a lot of us. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to have to take them off because I can't see that. No, sorry about that. Now, I live in Wisbech as well. I live about 2 miles up there. I'm not local though. I've only been here just over 34 years. So my husband, who is Wisbech born and bred, I'm Catholic, I should say, he's local, but obviously I'm not. I'm going to say a few things about Wisbech. Now, those of you who live there, you don't need me to tell you this, but for those of us who don't live here, the majority of residents, believe it or not, in Wisbech have lived here for many generations. We might sometimes not think that, but it actually is still the case. We have a relatively high proportion of the travelling community and migrants. Older people, now I don't quite know how anyone classes older people. I certainly wouldn't class myself as an older person, so I have no idea where this cut-off goes. But anyway, older people make up 1/4 of the population, which is actually quite high when you start to look at other places. 1/4 of us who live around here live in quite isolated rural communities, and 20% of us, 20%, don't have access to a car or a van. And as we know, public transport is indeed a joy. And the surrounding villages. You can come into Wisbech once a week as long as you don't want to go back home on the same day, because the bus doesn't go back. So I would say public transport's kind of quite poor, really. Wages are generally low, and this is in comparison to the rest of the country. Well before my time, when agricultural industries were really big in this area, employment prospects were very good. But with the loss of those agricultural industries, plus the fact that what happened in those years of the really dominant agricultural industries was that that's where the skills base was locally. So that when our industries started to go away, our skills haven't necessarily kept up with that fact, has meant that I'm sure those of you who, like me, have been here a very long time, have felt that it's been difficult for the powers that be. I mean, I know the district council tries extremely hard, I know the county council tries extremely hard, but to bring in new jobs into Wisbech has proved to be quite a challenge, and that has led to an overall decline. Some areas of Wisbech are amongst the most deprived in the entire country. Not just the county. I sometimes think we think the county, oh well, we'd expect that, wouldn't we? But it isn't just the county, it is the country. And the government did this massive great survey about 2 years ago. And what came out of it was that in Finland, we had some of the lowest levels of satisfaction with people getting on well together, influencing decision making, for example. And in many instances, some of the wards in Wisbech were the least satisfied in the whole county, and amongst the least satisfied again in the whole country. But, and I'm not a newly converted optimist, as Ed said, glass half full person. So before we kind of think, oh my goodness me, everything's terrible in Wisbech, oh it's really bad, what are we going to do? I'd just like to tell you one very quick story. When my mum passed away, we moved my dad to be much closer to where we live, and that was a 200-mile journey from my father, who at that stage was in his late 70s. And my parents had always lived in a very big conurbation in the southwest of England, so for my dad that was a really big thing to do. He missed my mum dreadfully. They'd been married for over 50 years at that time. But anyway, he bit the bullet, so to speak, and we moved him up to here. And after a couple of months, do you know what he said? He said to me, I don't know, he said, I lived in Bristol all my life, which he did, but he said, I've never met so many helpful local people. And that ranged from the guys at the tip in Boulness Road, who went down with kind of toot up in his car, and would sort of open the boot, and there'd be like masses of rubbish in the back. And he'd be thinking, oh, goodness me. Up they would come and say, can we help you with that, sir? People like that. The people who manned the reception at his GP surgery, who, when he missed an appointment and he rang up and he was so apologetic, and the lady said to him, don't worry, Mr. Bruton, she said, we all forget things like that. And Dad said to me, do you know, in my old surgery, I'd have got told off for doing that. Now, why on earth anyone tells off someone in their 70s, I've no idea, but they used to. And he also commented on the friendliness of his neighbours, who he said to me one day, do you know, they've been kinder to me in 6 months than the people that I live next door to for 30 years. So, whilst we're here to talk about community cohesion and perhaps where things maybe don't get on so well, which again I think is picking up a bit what Ed was talking about just now, I would like to say, as an incomer, but someone who's been here for quite a while, I think we need to remember that we live in a beautiful town with kind people, with good local services and thriving community groups. We can all think of dozens of them. So I've been here for 34 years and I certainly feel I've got a huge amount of